the number one challenge to AI success is actually team resistance.
Mm.
People are worried that they are training their replacement. We start using like our AI agent, and our outbound capacity literally doubled.
Back in the day, it was like cast a wide net, right?
Yeah.
And today, with AI, the intent signals feels more like, I think, spearfishing, right? It's the CEO who has to lead AI and this disruption. Well, welcome back to the Fuel Your Marketing podcast. I'm your host, Arti, and today I have a very, very important and experienced guest on the show. And today we're talking about one of the hottest and the most, I would say, honestly, most misunderstood topics in marketing right now, and how AI is changing the way we do outbound and build pipeline. Pipeline is the biggest challenge for companies today, and you're going to be finding a whole lot of value. And today my guest is Trinity Nguyen. Trinity is the CMO of UserGems, where she leads marketing, sales development, and partnerships. She spent a good, glorious 6 years, almost 6.5 years with UserGems. She's grown through the ranks, and she's now leading the sales trajectory and how AI is changing all of that. So with that tenured experience, Trinity, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for carving out the time. I know you've been busy on the road and you've been trying to educate a whole lot. It was such a pleasure meeting you at SaaS Talk, just a few months ago. So, as you know, we're talking about outbound today, right? And you've had such an impressive career in SaaS, GTM. What led you to kind of, shaping AI at UserGems, and how, and I guess you're new to the role, CMO role. So what is the excitement about this new chapter?
Oh, I mean, there are a lot of things that have been changing in the last, I would say, 12, 18 months in the go-to-market front. And I think anyone who's listening to this sees it and feels it. So that's what's going on right now. So I think it's pretty exciting time to be in kind of like doing this, but also like a really, really hard time. Like you mentioned, I'm on the road a lot. I meet with a lot of marketing leaders, sales leaders as well. And everyone's just trying to figure out, everyone thinks that they are behind because the moment you wake up and you read the news or you're on LinkedIn, it seems like everyone else figured it out except you. So because of that, we actually recently did an interview with 100 like revenue leaders individually, and we released a state of AI adoption in go-to-market report. So we interviewed folks to kind of like just see like what's really out there behind all these headlines and posts that we see. And 98% of the people that we interviewed, these are the sales and marketing leaders, mid-market enterprise, 98% of them are already using AI or experimenting with AI, but only 7% said confidently that they seen measurable ROI from the AI experimentation. So,
but I actually saw 15%. So if there's it's dropping down, that is scary, because there was a report I had read last year. I'm forgetting the source, but this is interesting. Wow.
Yeah, I think it's also like, so everyone has done their research differently and a different audience pool, right? We just kind of like tap into like our usual like ICP, like we use a tool called Winter, so we partner with them on this just to see like, okay, AI is everywhere, everyone's using AI everywhere, everyone's trying AI, but for this audience, B2B sales and marketing leaders, how are we doing with AI? And so far it's about 7%. But when we ask them like, okay, so are you going to invest in AI the same or more next year? And 97% of them said yes. So that's kind of like saying like we're optimistic that we will see the impact. So this is the 7% is not to say AI doesn't work. It's just it's a new technology that's evolved. The tech itself evolves so quickly. We trying to learn what it can do, and then we also trying to figure out how do we bring this into the strategy and the programs and the team we have. So the 7%
people adoption is also a thing. What I find is most SDR teams are either unaware of how to use and integrate it, or probably they don't use the tech stack that's being made available to them, right? And I think that's a big challenge too. That's what I'm seeing with our clients, at least. And you do remember, we came from outbound back in the day. I mean, I can speak for myself. Back in the day, it was like cast a wide net, right? And then, we were fishing in a wide net. With a wide net, we put a lot of fish, and then, most weren't what you needed, right? And today, with AI, the intent signals, it feels more like, I think, spearfishing, right? So you know exactly what you're targeting, where you're going, and why. So I think that mindset shift also is important. But the younger SDRs, I think, I don't want to age anybody, but I think the adoption is you have to be good with technology or you have to be open to technology.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. That's actually is really good. Kind of like back in the day when we just started out, like, yeah, you use technology, like you hit your numbers and then trust the process and you will hit your number. Like just make 1,000 dials, you will get the 10 meetings. That kind of like very
That's
predictable.
yeah.
But because back then people didn't have this like ability to spray and pray en masse. Now with AI, you can and you burn down your time. So actually now it's more important to figure out how to be like have precision and focus, like you said. Know who are in the market or soon to be in the market and focus on those instead.
Yeah. So what are some of the common challenges, like besides adoption, besides we are in this phase of disruption using of AI, new AI tools, what are some common challenges which you think that AI can solve today? And what can it solve, like, from a sales standpoint?
There are a number of I'll tackle the challenges and then the areas where AI can help. So I think, so but based on like the survey as well, and also kind of like what we see, the two challenges, 30% of people, the leaders said that the number one challenge to AI success is actually team resistance. It's actually the soft side of things. It's not the technical. So people are worried that they are training their replacement. And this is a very human thing, right? Like, and so I know that we talk a lot about tech and I can geek out about like the tech and, all that. At the end of the day, it's the people that we have to also keep in mind. Like, how do you make sure that our team feel confident that this technology, this AI agent that you bring in or ask them to build will only help them be more successful, make more money, get a promotion sooner. So I think that's the number one challenge. Number two challenge is because of GPT and like Claude, et cetera, everyone just think about AI as like the front end, the messaging piece. Oh, it's so cool seeing it writing and talking to you. But the most important thing is actually how good is the underlying data. So especially when you apply to like B2B go to market, like when you evaluate AI options or building it, think first the unsexy stuff, the data. Does this vendor, or if you buying something or if you're building, like what kind of data is it built on? Is it good? Is it accurate? And then you can do the fun stuff after that. So those are the two challenges. Even in the survey, people said the same thing.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No. It's interesting that you say that because I think the reason, like we're as C-suite, we're going to hit the roadblock of getting adoption from the teams, right? And I often say it's a big one. And that's why we say it's the CEO who has to lead AI and this disruption. At least I saw movement in adoption of AI when I got behind it. I was leaving it to my team to do the research and but I hold the budget, I hold the vision, I also tell the story the best, and I also know my mission, right? And the purpose. So I think when I kind of copied myself into, and I saw myself, I was a little disjointed. I was leaving it to my team. So I think that adoption, I want to hear your thoughts as to what can CEOs and to adopt, like to tackle the first challenge? What can CEOs and what are you in the C-suite position doing to get that buy-in from the team members? And what can companies do?
I would say the number one thing that we can do besides like making sure our team understand why they build it and what's in it for them. Like we're humans, right? Everyone's just like, what's in it for me? So do that soft communication stuff. I think that's important because what we're seeing is like a lot of companies just like top down from the CEO or the board, say use AI, period. Oh, and hit your number and we cut your budget, but use AI though. So like that doesn't help anyone. So I say CEO or like C-level leaders, like I would say work with your team to kind of like map out where are this is literally what I did. I asked the team is like, what brings you joy? Like what is a drag for you? What do you hate as part of your job? Because everyone has parts that they hate, right? And then you kind of pick those programs and those areas and figure out like, can we use AI to do this? So you naturally have the team buy in because they don't want to do these things anyway. So I think that's step one. Another thing also is, and everyone is running so lean. We have so much on our plates already. So like set up AI experiments is another job. But what I did is like looking at like what is our OKR at the company, so we do quarterly OKR. So what are the programs that we need to, or campaigns we need to run to hit those? And then we go, okay, in those campaigns, what are the parts that we could use AI to make it a little bit easier, faster, less painful? So then also get the team buy-in, because this is a KPI that they held to anyway. So you don't come up with yet another job for them to do. So those
I love it. I think you've done such a great job, because what we do is very similar. I did a roadmap for AI first agency and AI ops agency. I said, this is the 12-month roadmap, because we don't know what's going to come after 12 months, and that 12-month may change. So we did something very similar, but we call it a desire zone activity and a drudgery zone activity. So we did something similar. I said, okay, take the drudgeries and say, what can we, because that's slowing us down anyways. You're not doing it, you're procrastinating on it, you know. So what are those activities that we could automate and then bring speed and agility for you, for our customers, and also efficiencies in the business, right? So we built a few agents just to tackle the drudgery zone.
Yeah.
It's interesting that, and it gives me the confidence that we're doing something right and aligned with some of the more successful AI adopters, just like yourselves and your team. So pretty cool. So a lot of companies are investing in AI, as you said, and they have to first look at the data set. If they're using a third-party tool, that's another challenge that you posted. So talk to me a little bit about, if a lot of companies are going to invest, as per the survey and the report you did, 95% plus. Not all of them will see the results. What could be that missing link if they don't see the results? You said data should be clean. The data that you're building upon should be clean. Is there another item that they should be looking at to be more successful in that AI implementation?
Yeah, kind of like what I said about like the OKR approach. So be specific.
Oh, yes.
What is the campaign? What is the program that you want to put AI on? What is the expected output for that program? So with or without AI, like if I'm trying to run, like say, an ABM campaign, what would success look like for this ABM program a quarter from now? What is the conversion rate? Not thinking about tech at all. And then after that, it's like, can AI help? Because AI at the end of the day is a tool, right? So you need to be very specific. You need to have clear input and output. And that's how you're going to be able to like iterate and then keep iterating. Like it's not going to be like immediately a silver bullet that solves everything.
I think, when HubSpot created this recent report as well on AI and GTM, I think there has to be budgets for pivoting and testing, right? At the end of the day, if you are going to say that once I've implemented something and this is working well, we're going to stay stagnant. No, something new will come up. So you have to, I think there's new roles that were created earlier in the last year that, you need to learn AI, you need to be an AI engineer, you need to be learning prompting. But I think all of that moved to building agents now. And then I'm not sure, maybe there's next in the realm is how do you do robotics and have robots doing customer service calls. So I want to switch gears, because we are somewhat seeing a whole lot of trend around AI generated SDRs, like AI avatars and SDRs, right? So I know OneMind is one of the tools. Amanda's kind of built that. What's your take on that? And where's humanization going to get lost? Stay there? What's the role of humans?
Yeah, I think there are a lot of, because what AI is good at is ingesting a lot of information, more than a human brain can. I think that's just objectively speaking, ability to synthesize it very quickly, faster than a human can. So that's also another truth. But it can't build the human relationships. So as long as the buyers at some point still humans, then there are some kind of like things that there's no way AI can can replace people. So we always think that AI will enhance the job, and maybe the job will evolve to taken more under their on their plates, right? Like taking in more like areas that today we don't even know what those are yet. But they won't replace the whole entire thing. They will. So like this is very vague, but for example, we map out the entire job of a seller. Let's not even talk about marketing, because we have so many things in our plate. Just seller, because it's specific, it's one job. Everything they need to do, and then we look at it and it's like, what can AI replace, and what can a human have to be involved? And I can guarantee there's no way that like seller will be completely replaced. maybe in some segment. So if you're on like transactional sales, if you are PLG, right? Like that's then they don't need to talk to the seller. But if you're buying something over like 100K, you're next on the line because you have to defend it to the CFO. Would you want to talk to somebody? So I think humans become a premium, and all the busy exchanging email, finding information on the website, things like that. Yeah, it can be automated. It's fine. It's like us used to wash clothes on the river, and now we have a washing machine. But I still like pick out like my nice clothes and hang it up myself or hand wash it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I don't think it will completely replace, but it will definitely evolve how we buy and how we sell, and the job will evolve with it.
I so agree. I couldn't, you said it so beautifully. I mean, at the end of the day, we have to see where we are coming from, the journeys that we've all gone through, right? But we're still here, right? It's just
Yeah.
that AI will just become part of that life, but we will all adapt, and probably evolve.
Yeah.
I think what you're also saying is that at the end of the day, companies need to look at where is the highest ROI. You said humans will be premium. Where is the highest ROI of human BDR versus an automated BDR, you know? And where is the client finding the most value, I think. So that's where,
Yeah.
and
Actually, I can, sorry, I can share like a specific example. So I
sure.
think your audience might like it. So, so I also manage the sales development team and inside sales, right? So what in the past, a lot of our sellers, like SDRs, came from kind of like a Zoom era. So that means COVID time, they didn't really have a lot of like outside of the house engagement. So a lot of what they do is just inside, like building lists, finding people, engaging with them on like emails, social media, maybe some calling. So that was most of it, but that's not truly sales. I mean, like you and I would, if we think about real sales, sales is like shaking hands, meeting people. So with the AI, a lot of these inside data research, data entry stuff taken care of. So now our sellers, so in the past, I remember this, 2022, we sponsored our first conference, SaaStr. So we convinced our SDR to go work the booth, and that was their first experience. And I remember there were a VP of marketing at like hot enterprise account walking toward us, and the SDR lost it. Like they ran to me and like, Trin, there's a VP of marketing from company. What do I do? And I'm like, what do you mean you do? You turn around, you shake their hands, look in their eyes, and have a conversation like a normal person. And it was really, really hard. And I started noticing that like a lot of people like inside sales sometimes like because they're always inside, couldn't make eye contact, especially if they work in a remote company. So like you look at the screen like this, you look at the phone. So they couldn't, like, it was really hard to get our team to do more field activities in events. But we know that that's a channel that's worked really well. And actually, in person works really well now in the age of AI because premium. But now with AI, they took like our AI takes care of all that stuff. So our reps are now actually volunteering to go to events. Even though it was the first time, they training, they can look people in the eyes, they can make conversation. So I think that's how the job kind of evolving with AI and making the humans more premium. So I just want to be more very specific that story that we went through.
And I think that's the mindset when we as CEOs or executives are talking to our teams, we're just have to position it like that as well, because they are going to be premium, be it in the CS teams, sales teams, product teams, or whoever the teams may be. I think AI layer is going to make us to some degree dumb. I'll be honest with you, but to a larger degree will help us if we want to learn from and have that margin on our day to be able to learn something new, to upskill ourselves, to be able to do more deeper in analysis or maybe more work with depth, right? So I think that's what the positioning also needs to be, or maybe not just the positioning, but education to the teams that this is a new era, a new chapter for all of us, and that we have to ride this wave together. So when you talk about investing in AI, right? What are the top 3 areas do you think that companies will be investing in? If you were to choose between, let's say, AI infrastructure, AI-powered software tools, or if you were to look at training, talent acquisition and training, consulting strategies, where do you think people are going to invest a lot more?
So in the survey, we also asked like, what are the areas that revenue leaders are investing in right now? And the top 2 areas, the first one is the AI search optimization, and the number 2 is outbound. I think the search, is pretty self-explanatory. Marketers understand this immediately. And then the second piece is like outbound is expensive, but outbound is another channel to feed the pipeline, but it's very expensive and it hasn't been performing so well in the old world. So how can I use AI to help with that? So those are the top two areas that everyone said they would be investing in.
Fantastic. And I think that's the right thing to do because we're all wanting to grow our pipeline. And I think those are two proven models and motions that have produced over the years. And now the way we produce using those channels is changing and it's becoming very automated, intent driven. So I'm glad to hear that. As an agency, we are always at the helm of it. So we have deep understanding. We've built our agents around how to go to market with speed. Our agent Nova is in action. So I'm really happy to hear this. This is amazing. Thank you. Fantastic. So talk to me a little bit about, in terms of pipeline growth, this is without chaos, right? You have to use technology, you have to layer technologies. How are you using some of these technologies and advanced strategies at UserGems? And do you have a success story around UserGems that you want to share and that stands out for you?
Yeah, I do. So but I do also want to share a little bit of a context because I think all the answers is like, it depends. So the context for UserGems is we are very outbound centric organization. And I want to clarify that outbound here is not just like sales development. For me, outbound is outbound marketing and outbound selling doing together. So, and that's why we have the SDR team, or we call ADR within the marketing team, account development. So like 70% plus of our pipeline comes from this outbound marketing and sales. So that's the context for like people to listen in. So in terms of like how we're using technology, so we have company team plan with OpenAI, so GPT. So that's kind of like on the employee development. We want to encourage everyone to lean into AI. And the team's been building out some really, really cool custom GPT. We have like a GPT marketplace of different like agent teammates that you can just ask questions. We have, right now I'm experimenting with like having all of my direct reports within their team. Besides having human team, they also have GPT like teammates that they are responsible for like developing, introducing these GPT to the rest of the org, and then let the org use it. And if the org has any feedback, then they would go to the manager so that they're updating it. So part of like a team structure to make sure that it sticks. So I think that's one end we're doing on like the people employee development. On go to market in terms of pipeline. So we use AI a ton. So our entire CRM, we have all of our ICP accounts in there. So we have AI scoring those accounts daily. So the way we score it, so we're lucky because we have the product. We use UserGems for all of this. So that's nice. I also told the CTO that I would quit if someone take this away from me because I would have to build an entire go-to-market from the ground up. So like our ABM manager, our marketing would go into like the UserGem app and we see our ICP account, the score. And if it's past a certain, like over 100, for example, she would grab like top 500 and that becomes the ABM list for next month. And that list is the same list that she pass over to the account development team. And they know why these accounts have these good scores. It's not a black box. You can see all the company signals. And then from the ADRs, they can see who in those accounts already score as well. So account and context scoring with all the signals, enrich everything. So by the time that we like go after those companies on the ad side, all of these people are automatically added into sequences for the ADRs, pre-trapped emails, combining all those signals in there. So when the ADRs wake up on the first business day of the month, the ads go live, then they just see all the tasks already queued up for them, pre-drafted. So they only need to review and like hit go. So they can spend more time on calling, social selling, et cetera, et cetera. So that's kind of like our entire piece.
Fabulous, fabulous. So you have left no one to be lonely in your organization. They all have AI colleagues, which is great. I guess we are still kind of, building that humanization through AI, because when you are not awkward, as you said, in that experience, where your SDR was running to you, say, what do I do? This is a new human being I have to talk to. I can picture and visualize somebody streaming, marching from the conference hall. Having said that, I think this is such an amazing way that you've explained that at the end of the day, for our listeners, taking that context back from what I think Trinity was sharing, that you have to have high value activities done by humans, which is human beings are premium. You also have to make their lives better. I think especially in the SDR positions, I think there's so much stress anyways. If you can take away those tasks that are important, but can be automated or done by GPTs of the world and the tools that we have, especially UserGems, looks like that, the buying committee is getting hit from all aspects, but more strategically using UserGems as a platform, which is what we want. And
and I have the stats for it too, actually. I just pulled it, so it's very recent. So we started using like our AI agent last October. So it's been 10 months or almost 12 months now. And our outbound capacity literally doubled. So we used to book for outbound. So this is including ABM too. Used to be about 12 meetings completed per rep per month, and now it's 24.
Wow.
And it's just a double capacity. And then like in the past, our team was terrified of cold calling because nobody likes to be yelled at or hung up on. And now that they had this little like a co-pilot, that whenever anyone picks up the phone, the co-pilot like pulls out on the screen and say like, this is the reason why I'm calling you. Your company's had this, and you know us, and then you know one of our customers, blah, blah, blah. So now they love calling because like we have a winning channel for the ADRs, and now it's just full of wins from the calls because now they like, whew, people are not yelling at me anymore.
Yeah, there's more personalization to it, and you're speaking to them as humans, that how humans should be, but because the research is right available of what their interests them, where they are in their buying cycle maybe, and what kind of searches they may already be doing, because you have the intense data as well, I believe. Yeah. So cool. Are you partners with any other tools to integrate? I mean, I'm not going to get into that. If you don't want to answer that, don't answer. Is this something that you've kind of, you could go with Bambora for intent signals, or have you partnered with others to bring in that intelligence and the data sets that they are specializing in?
Yeah, absolutely. So, so we have our native signals, like I would say like dozens of the native signals that is uniquely to ours. So we have really strong like people level signals, but then like we also have account signals. We also read into your CRM, Gong transcript, email exchange. So that's like native. But if you have something like a Bambora or a 6 Sense or demand base or any other unique signals, like one of our customers, they sell to restaurants and they're looking for any like mom and pop restaurants that have four negative reviews in the last 12 months, something very unique. You can bring it in. So essentially UserGems become this like single source for all of your signals combined. And then you have the account. That's how we do the account scoring and contact scoring. Just throw anything at it, and then it will start stack ranking it and give you the score. And you can edit the score yourself too. So it's not a black box. And then how do you make sure everyone action on hot leads?
Yeah, no, intent signals are so important. We had a client whose pipeline was completely misaligned just because of the intent signals were not present or misaligned. So I think that was one of the things that we realized, that intent signals are so important, especially the outbound place. I always say it's like watering the garden, right? At the end of the day, you don't want to water the wrong plants because they'll die. You want to water the right plants who are ready to grow. So use intent signals. I strongly believe in them, especially if you're running ABM campaigns and you have TALs. So talking about intent signals, what are the signals or triggers that you think in modern outbound teams should be paying more attention to, and some of that still get ignored in your experience?
I think it really depends. And I really mean this because I'm doing this for 6 years and we have hundreds of customers now. And everyone has, depending on your space and your buyers, certain things are the air quote intent signals. So like, for example, the restaurant earlier, they're looking for, restaurant software earlier. They're looking for restaurants that are right now struggling to service their customers. So that's pretty bespoke. So I think it depends. But from like, in normal, most of tech companies and the services company,
Mhm.
People, when they think of signals or intent, they just think of like, oh, someone searching for keywords that related to me, because I think that's a definition of intent. But there are so many more signals. So we have a slide that just lists out account level signals. So are they funding? Are they expanding? They go to M&A, something like that, right? So that's company level signals. And then there's a people level signals that tend to be forgotten by marketers, because marketers, we train to think programmatically at the account. And that's why intent, like from like our partners, usually the sales team don't like it, because if someone at Snowflake is researching keyword related to UserGems, my seller is not going to do anything with them. Like who? So the second layer of signals that you got to think about is the people level signals. So did they use your product in the past? Do they know someone who is a customer of yours? Did they just get promoted? Did they visit your website, specifically the pricing page? Those are the second layer of signals.
Mhm.
Third one is your first party data signal. So like CRM data, any kind of engagement that you had with them in the past and present. So the best way is like when you map those out for your business,
Mhm.
then you can combine them. So the most impactful one is when you stack all the signals together. So when you send an email, it's not just congrats on your new job, buy my software. It's more like
No.
congrats on the new job. Like I'm here if you need any help, just send you a small gift. P.S. John from your sales team talked to us last year, but the timing wasn't right. If this sounds interesting, please talk to John. And you don't,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff you can only do when you stack a lot of signals together.
And I think companies who are listening, listeners who, I mean, anybody who's listening, I think needs to start looking at how they're taking their data and using it. Trinity
Mm-hmm.
talked about using your data, knowing your data. And then I think I always say the data intelligence, clean your CRMs, guys. I mean, at the end of the day, if you have hygiene in your CRM and hygiene in your other signals, even if you're using any call recording softwares, take that data, run it through AI, understand your account level,
Mm-hmm.
engagement. If they've called you, if you've spoken to an SDR, but they went cold, so I think
Mm-hmm.
all of that also plays a big role. We've been helping companies kind of take account of all those missed opportunities and lost deals as well, and using that to power up how our SDR is positioning it. So I think that there's a lot of merit in all of that.
100%. Actually, that Wake the Dead or Revive Close Lost is our second popular campaign. So like for us, for any new customers signing in with UserGems, the first campaign we set up is Past Champion. Easiest one, sales understand, they love it, so they will adopt. The Past Champions means that if they were your customers in the previous company, now they're at a new company and they ICP, then reach out to them. So that performs super, super well because makes sense, they know you. Immediately, 3 weeks after you send up the first campaign, the second campaign is Revive Close Lost. So they talk to you again, they're warmer, they know you already, and now there's something happening at the account. Maybe they visit your website again, they have a new VP just joined, they just got a new round of funding. Reach out, bring them back to life. That's the second campaign that performs really well.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think there's a lot of merit in that. I think what we're all talking about here is that SDRs are moving from being those dialers to becoming, I think, more orchestrators of their pipeline. And I think that's where the shift is, the big shift is. And that brings me to the close. I mean, this is such an interesting conversation. I can go on and on, picking your brain. And what you're building, I could learn and probably guide that conversation to our customers and our teams. So what I'd like to do is for someone who's listening and thinking and who wants to be more data driven and wants to know where should they invest, what are other companies doing, I'd love to get that report, Trinity, if we can put that in the comments. And I think I want to know one last question. Looking ahead from here to the next, I'd say 12 months, let's say, where do you think AI is going to take us? And what advice would you have for marketing leaders and sales leaders who want to future-proof their GTM strategy?
Oh man, I don't know.
I
I
know.
feel like anyone who says with a conviction that they know the future, especially right now with AI, I'm pretty sure they're going to be so off just because it changes so quickly.
Mhm.
We like even in our seed deck years ago, like 2020, with like UserGems is always meant to be an AI machine learning. We have a feedback loop in our deck, everything. And then like last year, so our roadmap of 2 years to get to like fully like agentic, we had to shrunk it down in 9 months because of how fast the technology evolves. So I actually don't know. I just think that as leaders, you're not behind, you're not falling behind. Don't worry if you're doing something right now with AI, even if it's just tinkering around and get your team to do that, you're already ahead. The tech will keep evolving. Don't get stressed out. Like if you can't do perfect prompt or some tool just sounds like I don't understand, don't worry, it's gonna keep changing. Even like I think I just listened to a podcast recently and they said that don't be so married to a specific tool because you never know who's going to be coming out next week that is making the whole entire experience a lot more intuitive. So just tinkering with it and yeah, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
Focus on the human side of things.
Oh my gosh, you stole it. Thank you. Yes, I would say you rightly said. You got to get on the AI side, start testing it out, and don't get overwhelmed. There's a new tool, a new product in the market every now and then. So I think you need to choose the few tools, learn them really well, try and test, implement. And then I also think that, as you said, AI could probably create that playbook, but humans have to execute on that playbook. So we have to bring that humanization into, and I think, of course, we all have to learn. There's a podcast that I was listening to, and they said, upskill yourselves, try and become a plumber. I said, no, that's not happening.
I mean, I start thinking about like growing a garden and farming, and I'm not a farming person.
Yeah.
But it's good to have, like a backup skill.
Well, I will say one more thing on the wealth building. I'll say on the wealth building side, people who are really building long-term wealth for generations are buying land and farming. Yeah. So you're definitely right.
We go full circle back to where we came from, farming.
You never know. We might. Who knows? But I think this is a very interesting time. It's an interesting journey. It's really good to be on this journey with leaders like yourselves, Trinity. Thank you so much for being so generous. You gave away a whole lot of nuggets and tools. So for our listeners, Trinity has been very clear. She's given practical advice and a very inspiring conversation. So if you want to follow Trinity, please check her out on LinkedIn, Trinity Nguyen, UserGems CMO. And for our listeners, don't forget to subscribe to the Fuel Your Marketing podcast. And thank you once again for all your love that you've given me over the years. And definitely check out usergems.com to learn more about Trinity and her company. Thank you again, Trinity. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Arti.
Thank you for listening to the Fuel Your Marketing podcast. For more episodes, visit www.fuelyourmarketing.ca.